Hi everyone, my name is John Coverdale, and this channel is to help students in Introduction to Computer Information Systems. And this video is a step-by-step guided tutorial for McGraw-Hill SIMnet project PowerPoint 2021, in practice, Chapter 2, Independent Project 2-6. Now today we are working for Life's Animal Shelter, and we're going to be completing a presentation that explains how to support the shelter and the rescued animals by volunteering or providing donations. To complete this project, you'll need to download your start file as normal and also a resource file. I have already done that, so let me go ahead and show you what that resource file looks like. I'm going to bring that window to the front here, and you'll see that on my computer, the icon looks like a folder with a zipper across. And in the tooltip that you can see now, it says that it's a compressed or zipped folder, which means that it is a file that has other files inside of it, kind of like a briefcase or a suitcase. So what we need to do is open this up and take the pictures that we'll find there out of it. And the pictures are going to be needed towards the end of this project when we get to the last slide that's going to look like this right here. So let me go ahead and get those files for us here. I'm going to just double click on the folder icon. It opens like a normal folder in the Windows Explorer. I will double click again, and we can see that we've got some pictures. I want to select all of these, and then I'm going to copy them. You can use Control-C or this button on the toolbar here. I'll copy them. And then I'm going to go back to where I was previously with my start file, and I'm going to use paste. You can use Control-V or the toolbar. Just paste those files right there so those pictures are available when you need them later on. There should be a total of 5 of them. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and open the actual PowerPoint presentation. I'll do that now. This is going to open up in PowerPoint, and because it came from the internet, it's going to be opened in protected view. So let's go ahead and enable editing. I'm going to maximize my window so that I can see everything easily. And then I'll switch back to the instructions here, and we'll see what we're going to be doing. We've already opened the file. We don't need to rename it. So we're going to work on slide 1 here. It says, display slide 1 and adjust the title. We're going to change the color of it, and you can read the color there. It's a dark red color. We're also going to use a text effect. It's going to be a bevel effect called angle. We're going to make the font size larger, 80 points, and we're going to arrange these words so that there's one word on each line. And we'll do that by resizing the placeholder. So I'm going to go ahead and do all 4 of these things. Let's go ahead and get back into the presentation here. We're going to click on these words here, you can help, and you can see that it is contained in a wireframe in a text placeholder. Let's go ahead and select all the words here. And the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be changing the color of these. And I think I'll have to take a look at it again. It's going to be dark red, accent 1, darker 25%. So let's take a look. Let's find the A tool, the text tool that has a color. And we're going to go for this color here down to about right there. So that's going to be the color that we want. We also want to make these words larger. I think it was 80 was the size that we want, so I'll go ahead and do that. And we also want to go to the Shape Format tab and look for a text effect. That's a bevel effect. Let's go to bevel. And in the flyout menu, we're going to be looking for one that's called angle. So there it is right there. Click on this one here. It's the first one in the second row. So it's a bevel effect. And you can see that it gives it kind of a slight 3D sort of appearance. The next thing that we're going to do is resize the text box container so that it forces each word onto a new line. So I'll grab the circle handle in the corner and just kind of drag that to resize the box so that it naturally wraps onto multiple lines. All right, so that should complete that step, I think. A color, effect, size, and then resize the placeholder. Step 4 says to resize the picture and remove the background color. And so what we have here, guys, is a dog floating on a white background. And when you have a picture of something without a background, usually it's going to be a white background or transparent. That's called isolated. So if you're ever looking for a picture of a dog that has no background, you can search for dog isolated photograph, and you'll find pictures that look like this. Now, if we had a white background, we wouldn't really need to worry about any tweaking here of the picture, but because the background color is not white, it looks kind of strange to have this big white square behind the dog. I'm going to show you the best way of doing this in PowerPoint, and then I'm going to undo that and show you the way that they want us to do this so that we can get the points that you guys deserve. Here's the new way of doing it that they did not update in the book yet. Let's go ahead and click on the picture one time. Make sure your handles are around the picture. You should have a picture format tab. Click on that. At this point, if you go to the ribbon, you'll see there's a tool called Remove Background. Now, this is not what they want us to do, so you don't even have to do this if you don't want to. I'm going to show it to you, but then I'll show you the alternate way, the older way. If you click on this, what happens is you have a pink color where the background is going to be made transparent. And whether you're using PowerPoint or Photoshop, usually a red or pink color is going to be used to show where a background is going to turn invisible. The reason for that is that in the old days of printing on printing presses, when they wanted to hide something, when they made a printing press plate and they burned that plate with a kind of photography system, they would have a clear piece of plastic that had red on top of it. And they would put the red layer on top of the picture, and with a razor blade, they would cut around the thing that they wanted to be showing and peel off that red plastic, leaving the red only where they wanted to block the light from going through and essentially erasing the background. So that's why they always in photo editing programs use this. And sometimes they have razor blade icon tools to adjust the edges. Now, the problem that we have here is there's pink, or fuchsia, I think it's actually called, over the dog's paws and the tips of his ears. So I want to go ahead and see if I can improve this. Let me show you. If I keep changes here, we're going to be clipping off the tips of his ears. So I'm going to go back to the tool and I'm going to mark areas to keep. I'm going to get the pencil and touch the tip of his ear here, the tip of his paw here, and it learns that I want to keep those specific colors. So now when I click on Keep Changes, it's going to do a pretty good job of erasing the background around this dog, and he's floating over my slide. Okay, sadly, we don't want to do this because we're going to use a different method. And as you'll see, the method that we're using isn't as good. And so I'm going to go ahead and use the undo tool to back out of all these changes here and show you another way of doing this. So this is the step that you should do to get your project graded properly. Click the dog picture one time, go to the picture format tab, and under color, there's down here an option to set transparent color. Go ahead and choose that and then click. I would recommend clicking about where I'm clicking on this. Don't click too close to the dog. Click about right here for the grading to take place most accurately. What's going to happen is it's going to sample pure white as the color that it's going to make invisible. And that is pretty good, but if you were to zoom in, what you'd see is that we've got a white ghost effect that we have around the edges of the dog. And the reason for that is that due to the file compression that's being used here, as the white color gets close to the dog, it starts to kind of blend with the color of the dog himself. And so we have a not so pure color of white that is not invisible using this system where only one single color can be made invisible. But that's okay. If we have this on a PowerPoint slide, I'll go ahead and show it to you here. If we have it on the screen for about 30 seconds, like a typical PowerPoint slide, it's going to be good enough for people who are going to be, 6 to 10 or more feet away. So it's okay. We'll go ahead and accept that. If yours looks like that, you're good to go. Let's go back to our instructions here, and we can check off these instructions. It says position the dog on the left. And so I'm going to just make sure that my dog is kind of touching his tail on the shapes down at the bottom of the slide. And that should be good enough. It doesn't have to be exactly like the example. Let's go to slide 2 and apply a picture style. What we're going to do is we're going to change the size of the picture to 8 inches wide. The height of it will automatically adjust. We're going to use moderate frame black as our picture style. So let's go back to our presentation. Go to slide 2. We have a picture of these kids and their dog and cat. Click it, and then we want to make the size of it 8 inches wide. So once you click the picture, go to the Picture Format tab. Change the width here to 8. I'm going to type 8 and hit the Enter key. It resizes the height automatically so that we don't squish the people in the picture. We want to add a frame around the picture. It's going to be kind of a dark outline. Let me open up the drawer here that has all of our picture styles, and I'm going to just move my mouse around, and you can see that we get a preview of the different styles of effect that we can get. We're going to go for this one right here, moderate frame black. So go ahead and choose that one, click it one time, and make sure that you have that black outline around the picture. We're going to make sure that we align this picture in the center of the slide and then put it near the top. Eventually, we're going to have a text box underneath. I'm going to go ahead and move mine to the top, and it doesn't matter if I have it drift off to the edge here because I'm now going to center it using the alignment tool. So on the Picture Format tab, we have an Align tool. Let me go ahead and open that, and you'll see that it says Align to Slide. That means it's going to align this, in this case, to the exact center of the slide itself. There is an option here that is not activated. In fact, it's gray and disabled that says Align Selected Objects. If we're going to be moving selected objects around and we have a multiple selection, then it activates this option and the objects are aligned to each other, not to the slide itself. Let me go ahead and do what we need to do here, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and click Align Center, snap that picture into the very exact center of the screen. What I'm talking about here is, let me just go ahead and make a new presentation that is totally blank. And I'll just find those pictures that we were looking at earlier and drop some of them onto this slide here. And sometimes with pictures, you want to line them up with each other. And so I'm just going to take a few random pictures here. Let's not use that one. I'll get rid of it. So I'm going to go ahead and just take some random pictures here. Maybe what I want to do is align all of these pictures so that they are aligned up with the bottom together. So maybe I have some text I want to put underneath them. If I select all of these, and I can do that by clicking on the first one and then using the Shift key and click all the other ones. If I have a multiple selection like this and I go to Picture Format and I go to the Align tool, notice that it has Align Selected Objects as the default option. If I choose, let's say, Align Bottom, it's going to snap all of these down to the lowest edge of the lowest picture. Let me go ahead and do that, Align Bottom, and that snaps them all down to where they line up together, and I could maybe put some text underneath that if I wanted to. Notice the gaps in between the pictures are uneven. I could go back to the Align tool and choose Distribute Horizontally, and it would space those out so that they were perfectly spaced out with equal gaps between each one. So that's the Align tool used with multiple objects. We're not needing to do that right now, but it's a very powerful tool for making your slides look polished and perfect. I'm going to throw this away and get back to our assignment here. I've moved my dog and kids up towards the top of my slide, so I've got some room down below. I'll go back to my instructions, and they want me to insert a text box on the slide with the following words. I'm going to carefully copy the red text, not including that punctuation there. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to use that instead of trying to type. I hate making typing mistakes, and I'm not the greatest typist, so I like to paste when I can, but we need to paste it without any special formatting, and I'll show you how to do that. Let's go to the Insert tab and look for a picture or an icon that has a letter A, as I recall it is, inside of a box. There it is right there. Let's click it, and it makes our icon look kind of like a sword. What I'll do is I'll click down here below the picture, and it gives me a little text box with a blinking line inside of it. I'm going to go to the paste tool and choose this option here, keep text only, and that will paste the text without any of the formatting from the instructions page. Our operating funds come through donations and pet adoption fees. That's what it should say. And we want to make sure that it's typed exactly correct with the capital letter O, etc. Let's format that text box there. We want to change the font color to white, the font size to 20, the shape fill of the rectangular container to black, and do an outline that's white and 3 points, resize it so it looks like this, and align it in the center somewhere below the picture. Okay, let me go ahead and do the white background and the 20-point size first. I'll go ahead and click on my text here. I'll select all my text in the text box. I'll go ahead and make it 20 points now while I can see it clearly, and then I will use the text color tool to change the color to white using white background 1, the white color on the top row of all these colors here. It's kind of hard to see the text at this point, so let's get the Shape Format tab and find where it says Shape Fill, that's the paint bucket tool, and choose black for your shape fill, and that will make the text easy to read. Let's give the black text box a white outline. We're going to use the Shape Outline tool twice. The first time we're going to choose the color white. I'm going to click right here to choose that white color. Kind of hard to see it. Let's go back to Shape Outline again and go down to Weight and use the flyout menu to choose 3 points. And we get a 3-point outline around the text box. I'll click off to the edge here and we can see how that looks. We can clearly see that it has a white outline. Let's go ahead and click on the text box one time and then resize it so that it looks kind of like this. We've got 2 lines. Our operating funds come through, donations and pet adoption fees. That's kind of how they have it. And once you've got that, you can go ahead and adjust this a little bit if you want to move it up or down. I'm using the keyboard to do that right now using the arrow keys. Once you like the vertical position, go ahead and go to Shape Format. And if you don't see Shape Format, just make sure you click on the text box here. Go to Shape Format and choose Align and Align Center. That'll snap it into the center of the slide. So now it should be perfectly aligned underneath the picture of these kids. Okay, that should complete step 7. Let's keep on going to step 8. It says that we're going to take the slide that we just created. We're going to copy it. You can use Control-C for that and paste it after slide 3. So it's very important to get these slides in the right order. If you get them out of order, the grader for SIMnet gets totally confused. So here's the slide that we just completed right here. We want to copy it and then place it as the new slide 4, and we're going to edit it. It'll look like this right here. Let's go ahead and do that together. I'm going to go to the left-hand edge of PowerPoint. This is the slide sorter pane. I'm going to click on slide 2 here. It'll display it in the workspace here. But I can now right-click and choose Copy. You can use Control-C if you want to. Click in between slides 3 and 4. You should get a line in between, and then you can use the Paste button or Control-V. That makes an exact copy of that slide at the position that you chose there. Now, if it's in the wrong place, you can pick up these little thumbnail previews and glide them around to change the order of things if you need to. But do me a favor, make sure that you click on slide 4, that it is the copy of the kids and their dog. We're going to change it. Make sure you're not changing slide 2 by mistake. Click on slide 4, click on the picture, and what we're going to do is we are going to change the color of the picture and also the words. Okay, let's go ahead and take care of the words first. We're going to change the words to these words here. We need your help. I'm going to copy those words. I'm going to now go and select all the words in my text box here, and I'm going to choose Paste with Keep Text Only. We need your help. Once I've done that, I will resize my text box so it looks about like that. And then I'll go to the Shape Format tab and choose Align Center once again to get that into the exact center of the slide. So having done that, we've resized the text box and centered it underneath the picture. Let's click on the picture one time and use a color tool to change it to what's called a duotone, a combination of two colors, one of which in this case is black, the other is orange. So we're replacing any shades of white or gray with orange. Let's click on the picture one time. We should have a picture format tab available. Let's go there. Let's choose the color tool. And under the recolor options, I think we're looking in the second row, the third option. Put your mouse over it. It should say orange, accent color to dark. Go ahead and click on that. And your picture is now going to look like this. It's in the perfect center of the slide. It says, "We need your help." So that should complete step 9. Let's go ahead and go on to step 10. We're going to need to go to slide 5 and convert the bullet list into a vertical bullet list SmartArt graphic. Okay, let's do that first. We need to go to slide 5. It says ways to donate. And we're going to take this bullet list here and convert it to something called SmartArt. Now, bullet lists like this are by far the most common kind of a PowerPoint slide, and they can get to be a little bit boring. And so it's always good to add some variety to your presentation with pictures or just different ways of arranging your text. And one of the features of PowerPoint and Office in general is something called SmartArt, where we take a bullet list and we convert it into kind of a diagram or a series of shapes. To change it from what we have here to SmartArt, we need to select all the words. So we need to get each and every one of these words here. You can click in here and do Control A for select all. And I see that they've got a couple blank lines down there. That concerns me a little bit, but let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and go to, here it is. It's this little icon. If I had a bigger screen, I think it would tell me, it would have the words convert to SmartArt. I'm going to click on this and choose more SmartArt graphics. Let me go ahead and do that right now. And what I want to do is choose the category list. And what we're looking for is the vertical bullet list. So I'm going to find that. It might be this one here. Yeah, it's going to look like this here. It's in the second row of the list category. Make sure that yours says vertical bullet list and then click OK. And what happens is it takes all of the text and puts it into a series of shapes right here. So it doesn't look quite like a standard bullet list. Let's increase the SmartArt frame height to 4.7 if we need to. That'll make the text a little bit bigger. Now here's something that's very important. If you notice, in my SmartArt here, I've got little circle handles around this outside wireframe and also around this inside wireframe here. What I've really got selected is this shape here that says inside of it, donate funds to LAS. If I go to Format and I change the height of this to, what was it, 4.7, what's going to happen is it's going to make that one shape really big, and I don't want that to happen at all. So before you change anything, you want to make sure that you click on the outside wireframe and that there's nothing inside your SmartArt selected. You can even, let's close this box here, we don't need it. You can even click off the SmartArt and then click it one time and click it again. Just make sure that you don't have anything inside selected. Then go to Format, change the height of it to 4.7 and reduce the width of it to 9 inches. So it doesn't have quite so much space on the right-hand edges. And then we're going to apply an effect called Cartoon. It's a 3D effect. We'll find that on the SmartArt Design tab. Let's open the drawer, and under 3D, it should be the third effect. Put your mouse over it, make sure the tooltip says Cartoon, click that. And then let's go ahead and move that to the right-hand edge of our slide, kind of like we see in the preview, to give us space to put this beagle next to it. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab my SmartArt by the edge, the wireframe, and move it off to here. You can also use your arrow keys to nudge it up and down, sideways, to get it exactly where you want it. I'm going to click away from it so that nothing is selected. That'll complete step 10. Now I can go to step 11, and still on slide 5, we're going to go to 3D models, search for the word dog, and find a beagle, and put him right here like this. So let's go to the Insert tab, find the 3D square here. It'll say 3D models. For the category, let's go ahead and search for dog, because rather than clicking on these tiles, let's just find all the dogs. The one we want is a beagle. He's going to look like this. Notice he's facing a different direction from how he looks here. And you'll see how that's possible here in a second. Click on the beagle. Notice that the button that says Insert tells us that we're inserting one of these. We could insert multiples, but we're not going to. Click the Insert button. It drops him right in the middle of our slide, and he's looking almost straight at us. Grab this little circle tool here and spin him around so he's looking off to the right-hand side of the slide, and then put him right about here. Let's see how big he ought to be. He needs to be 2.8 inches high. Let his width automatically take care of itself. So I'm going to select his height, 2.8, and his width automatically adjusts. I can move him to where he's looking at the words, kind of like that. I'll click on the edge here to deselect and see what that looks like. Pretty close to what they have in their example. So he's 2.8 inches high. We've spaced everything out like they've got there. And so we're going to now go to insert a new slide after slide 5, and we have quite a bit of typing to do for this slide here. So we're on slide 5. Let's go to the Home tab and choose New Slide, Title, and Content. And that's the most common of the slide formats. You know, you always want to use the slide style that has the containers that suit your needs best. So if you want to compare two things side by side, you know, use one of these. If you only want to have a blank slide, use the blank slide. But most often people will find that the title and content is what they're going to wind up using. And it's the one that's used for a bullet list, but we're not actually going to do a bullet list on this slide. Let's go back to our instructions here. The title of this slide is Items We Need. Notice that for titles, we capitalize each word like a book. I'm going to click here and paste with Keep Text Only. And then rather than clicking here, I'm going to go down and click the icon for inserting a table. And so we want to click on this icon. It gives us a dialog box saying, how big of a table do you want? We want a table with 3 columns and 5 rows. So make sure that you type that there and click OK, and you're going to get a table that looks like this. So we need to do a bunch of typing here. I'm going to speed up this process here. I'm going to be doing some copying and pasting because I don't want to make any mistakes with my typing. But you can copy words from the instructions, copy from here, jump over to PowerPoint, and then make sure, I'll use the Home tab, that you choose to keep text only every time you do this, okay? And so I'm going to now copy paper products and bedding, and I'll paste that here, and I'll probably just kind of zoom through this with the power of video so that you don't have to spend time watching me type all this. And there we go. I've typed all this stuff in here, and hopefully I've got it correct. I'll take a moment to make sure that I did type it correctly. I think that looks pretty good. So let's take a look at the instructions here. We're going to increase the font size of all of this text here to 20, adjust the column width so that we fit the longest line of text without anything being wrapped onto a new line, and then center the table in the center of the slide and also the middle of the slide, which means up and down. Okay, let's increase the font size to 20. I'm going to click on the word cleaning. I'll select all with Control A. I'll go ahead and change the size of everything to 20. Now, I'll click to deselect everything, but I will put my mouse point over the line in between columns and click and pull it to just kind of resize everything a little bit and see if I can get this to look kind of like what they have in the book there. So I don't want it to be too crowded, but I don't want to have too much extra space. So I think I'm happy with this here, about like that. So once I've done that, I'm going to go to my Layout tab, and under the Align tool, I'll use this tool twice to align center and also align middle. So it's in the perfect middle and center of my slide. Let's keep on keeping on here with our instructions, and the instructions say to insert and format two icons. We're going to use this cat and this dog, these silhouettes, and put them above and below the table. So let's go ahead and get into the Insert tab. There's a duck and a leaf on the Icons button. Click that. Let's first of all search for cat. This is the cat that we want, so go ahead and click it one time. It puts a check mark on it. The Insert button says Insert 1. Let's keep on using this search tool here, dog, and we're looking for this dog right here. Okay, kind of looks like a Labrador. Let's check that one off. The Insert button should say Insert 2. Click it, and we've got two animals in the very middle of our slide. Let's click on just a blank area, and then click on the animals, whichever animal it is. It's the cat. The cat's going to go somewhere up here. Let's put it up there. Let's go back and grab the dog, put the dog somewhere about like this. Let's see what size they want us to use for these. Step 13C says make the cat 2 inches tall and put the cat right here. So click the cat. On the Graphics Format tab, change the height to 2. The width will resize automatically. I'm just going to use my arrow keys to put the cat right about here. I think that's good enough. I'm going to click the dog one time, make sure that the wireframe is around the dog. The dog needs to be 3.5 inches tall, so I'll go ahead and change his height, 3.5, enter. And now I'll grab the dog and put him to where he's kind of standing on these shapes right there. Is that about right? I think that's pretty good. Their cat is a little bit further over there, so I'll put the cat right there. I think that's good enough. My dog looks like he needs to move down a little bit there. But I think as long as it's pretty close to what they have in the sample, it'll be fine. That should complete step 13. Let's go ahead and go to step 14, which says convert a list to SmartArt. And we're going to make the list look like this with all these pictures here. So we're getting ready to use the pictures that we downloaded earlier. All right, so getting back to our PowerPoint slide, click on the last slide here, slide 7. Let's select all the text. Control A will do that for me. Now that I remembered where the Convert to SmartArt Graphics button is, let's go there, pull down the window shade and choose More SmartArt Graphics. This time we're going to be looking for a picture style SmartArt, so click Picture, and we're going to slide down to about, well, to the bottom of the collection here, and we're looking for this one, I think, the Picture Lineup. Let me verify that with our instructions here. Picture Lineup. Okay, let's make sure that it says Picture Lineup right here. Click OK, and so now it converts the bullet list into a horizontal list with a picture placeholder where we can put pictures to kind of amplify the meaning of each bullet list item. So let's click on the picture icon above Assist with Daycare. We're going to click here. We need to browse from a file, so click on that. It may want to take you to your pictures folder. That's usually where it defaults to searching for pictures there, which is a good place to look. But remember, you unpacked these pictures earlier, and I told you just to put them with the file that you downloaded. So it may be in your downloads folder or your desktop, wherever you downloaded the files and unpacked these is where you're going to find these. The first one that we're looking for is going to be, I forgot what the word said, Assist with Daycare. So we're going to click on Daycare, hit Insert, and that's going to put the picture in like that. Now, this is not part of the project. You can ignore this if you want to, but just so that you know for your own PowerPoint presentations, if you don't like the way that the picture gets positioned, because it's going to just kind of try to center the picture there, but if I don't like how it looks, I can click on the picture, go to Picture Format, and hit this button here called Crop. At that point, I could slide this picture over or even grab the corner of it and make the picture bigger so that I could, center it up better and have it more visible. We don't have to do this for this project, but that's a good trick to know. Let me go ahead and deactivate the crop tool. Let's keep on going. Take Canine Country Strolls. Let's go from a file and look for Country Stroll. Hit the insert button. There we go. Royal Treatment. Find that picture. Assist with food prep and assist with bathing and grooming. We're just going to do this every time until we've used all of the pictures. And that should be the end of this slide here. I think let's take a look at the instructions. The instructions tell us to use the slides. And then finally, the last thing that we're going to be doing here is that it says to apply the gallery transition to all slides. So let me go ahead and do that. Now, if you look here, I'm going to circle this. Under the number 3, there's an icon of a shooting star. That tells me that that particular slide has some kind of transition. I don't know what kind of transition it has, but it has a transition. None of the other slides have the shooting star icon, so I know that none of these have a transition. What is a transition? A transition is what happens when one slide changes to another. It's kind of like in the movies where you have transitions like fade, wipe, a jump cut, things like that. To show the presentation, you can hit the F5 key and that'll put the presentation on your screen. You can use the up and down arrow keys to go through the presentation, and you can see that it just blinks from one slide to another. When I get to slide 3, there was a transition there, so we're going to see what that looks like, okay? But otherwise, it just has a quick sort of snap change from one slide to the next. Let's go ahead and try to add a little bit of style to the presentation by going to our Transitions tab, and we're going to look for a transition called Gallery. It's in the exciting category, I think, and I'm looking for it here. Gallery is right there, okay? So find Gallery, click it, and sure enough, it's that transition that we saw on slide 3. We want to use that exact transition on all the slides. Let's go ahead and click on the button here, Apply to All, okay? And so when we do that, you'll notice that in the slide sorter pane, we now have shooting stars on all the slides. Now, a lot of times when I'm finishing a presentation, I like to double check what my transitions are going to look like, because sometimes I'm using, different transitions for different sections. If I go to this little icon down here in the lower right, these give us different ways to arrange our workspace, and the one that I'm circling right now looks like 4 pieces of glass in a window or something like that. If I click that, that's the slide sorter view. And so on the Transitions tab, if I select all, I'll use Control-A for that. I can hit Preview, and it gives me a preview of each one of my slides here. And so I can see what each one of these are going to look like. They're all using the gallery transition, which is what we wanted, so I know that this is correct. I'm going to go ahead and save my presentation. I'll go back to my standard normal view of PowerPoint here before I submit my work. Let me go ahead and upload that file right now. I'm going to go ahead and click on Upload My File. Here's my Downloads folder, and I've got quite a few things here. I'm looking for the PowerPoint presentation. It has the icon on my computer of the first slide, but it'll have your name, and it says you can help, and it should maybe have some indication it's PowerPoint. Click on that and upload your file, and click Submit, and we'll see what my grade is here. Hopefully I did a good job, and if I did a good job, then you can go ahead and submit yours. I did something wrong. Resize a picture and remove a background color. Picture on slide 1 is not set to the height of 6 inches. Okay, I skipped a step, and I apologize for that. Let me go back to my presentation. Go to your slide 1, click on the dog. Let's go ahead and go to Picture Format, and the height of this dog should be 6 inches. So go ahead and change that. His width is going to resize automatically. Go ahead and move him into position there. Make sure that if you needed to fix something, you save it before you resubmit it. I'm going to go ahead and click on the title of the project, go back to the Upload button, resubmit my file. Hopefully this fixes everything. And if it does, then hopefully you feel like you're ready to submit your work as well. All right, and for the reveal, it says 100%. Very good. So that completes PowerPoint Chapter 2, Independent Project 2-6. I hope the video was helpful to you. If it was, go ahead and submit your work, and if you have any questions, contact your instructor. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great day.